Thanks so much for chatting with me, Garth. I'm really
Oh, it's my
excited.
pleasure. Thanks for having a Christmas tree back there. You're keeping this festive now. Love it. Good job. How you
Well,
doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing
Good.
well. How are you doing?
All right. Yeah, we're here in. I live in Paris. It's the end of the day. It's very dark outside. This is where the animation studios are. So I'm in my office right now, and we're near the end. You know, it's nearly Christmas, and it's kind of extraordinary. These are the last sort of few engagements I have before I stop. So it's kind of nice actually. It's been really sweet today. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And I have to say to you, I love the film. It is such a
Oh,
joy.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really am. I mean, that's its primary function is to instill joy, to infuse joy into the audience. And my God, I mean, especially you set out to do that, but even after all these, the last few years, especially, I've really enjoyed being with audiences who have felt it, and I can't help feeling like there's an extra level of enthusiasm because we've all been denied this experience for so long.
Yeah, and this is one of those films that certainly feels like it's one of those things you want to have at a community. You
Yeah.
know, it's almost one of those ones you want to bring out your cell phone and wave the
Yeah.
light. You know, it's one of
Well,
those.
it's funny you should say that. When we had the premiere in LA on Sunday, we did it at the Greek Theatre, and everybody at the Greek Theatre had wristbands on,
Okay.
and we could control the lighting of them. So by the end, everyone was waving their hands in the air. All the lights were going. It was like being at a rock concert. It was beautiful, really.
That's really cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Well, I mean, you're back here for the sequel. What sorts of things did you want to do differently with the new film?
Well, I'd learned so much from the first one, and I never made an animated film before the first movie. So it was great to just have one more go and just to take those characters who, by the end of the first movie, they'd only just realized their potential. Do you know what I mean? There's barely a stage. There's like a piano, some cardboard set, and I mean that was it. It was just that thing of like, it would be so nice to see these people try to go to that next level, both creatively and emotionally and all that stuff. Also, I love the fact that we now, by the end of the movie, we had a family, we had a group. It was really appealing to see, because I can relate to that. Like, I have not got to this position right now on my own. I'm surrounded by people I love, that I work with, and I love seeing that. I love seeing that camaraderie that you need to go on a journey like this. And I just love the potential for that, for the characters, but also musically as well. I think it's half as many songs as the first film, because it was so nice to be able to go, okay, let's do more with each song. So like opening with a 4-minute Prince number, and then a bigger, everything's more used more substantially. There are quick pieces in there still, like little short bits in the audition sequence, but in general, the music is used more substantially. I love the idea of set pieces instead of just quicker, shorter pieces. But no, there were lots of reasons to do it, and just being in love with the whole world, really. You can't beat that, to stay in it and try to develop it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's such a great film, and I love you talk about the family there. You've really got this sort of family atmosphere amongst the group. But you've got a new addition to the family. I have to ask you about Bono.
Yeah.
My understanding is he's sort of the Bill Murray of the music industry, who just sort of shows up where he wants to show up. I don't know whether
I
that's
love
accurate
that.
or not.
I don't know. I mean, I know I've never met anyone like him. I've never, ever met anyone like him. I doubt I ever will again. Um, he he'd seen the first film. Well, I mean, we'd written this character, and he was our dream, performer for the role. I mean, it couldn't be better. Not only him as a person and as a voice, but that music would serve this story, which is really at its root about grief and healing. That's what that illustrates. And that music and that personality would do it. So I couldn't believe it. I'm genuine. I could not believe when we'd sent him the outline via his agent or manager or whoever, that he then phoned up and he was into it. And he'd seen the first film and really loved it. And because he said to me afterwards, he said, "You guys love music. I can see it in the way you've handled it and the choices you've made." And he, of course, is really passionate about music, not just as an art form, but what it means to him as a person and what it's done to people around him and the positive effects of this. And And so we talked for a great length of 45 minutes or so on the phone about what it meant to him, why someone would lose their voice through grief. It's an illustration of what can happen. Grief can affect people in all kinds of ways. I'm not saying there's any one. It affects everybody differently. But he was talking about how that would take your voice, and how it's really the love. He loved this idea that at the end, as you know, it's really the love of the audience expressed in singing that brings him back. And that as a story, he felt very emotionally attached to as an artist. He could relate to that. And it was literally that enabled us to begin this process of working together. But I never asked him for a song, by the way. I never said, oh, by the way, can I have an original song? He just said, he was inspired by that and just said, I could write something. And he did. And out came this beautiful song at the end of the movie. I still can't believe I'm saying these words. It's extraordinary to think we've done this.
Yeah, I absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of his music
Yeah.
for many, many years. So just to see how his role in the film and his music sort of carries carries the story is
the soul of the movie. It literally is the emotional core of the movie. That's the thing that's missing in their show all the way to the end. No, honestly, people often, after a movie is made, they often say nice things about the people they've worked with. And you're like, yeah, sure, everyone's happy now. But honestly, I've never worked with anyone as generous spirited, as kind, as enthusiastic. And it's not like he's sitting around doing nothing. He's running around doing as much as he can for his charities and all that stuff. So I couldn't have asked for more, really.
That's amazing,
man.
Well, I need to ask, can a song save your life?
Can a song save your life? I think I don't think it can literally pull you out of the water if you've fallen in a river, but I think it can be part of healing. I think being understood I've never been asked that directly before. So forgive me if I don't get this answer this succinctly. It's more, I'll try and express how I feel about that, because it has been my life. It's been a huge part of my life for as long as I can remember. And I feel like those difficult times when a song can really connect with you, it feels like you're like somebody understands. Like that song can express how I feel, and sharing that feeling can help you through. That can save you. It's not just about giving you hope, it's understanding you, like somehow getting to. When I went through a very difficult time about 8 years ago, there was one song, and I remember it didn't even necessarily, it wasn't what you would think, but it just got to me. It just was the thing that got me through. I would play it over and over again, and there was something beautiful about that. I think it can certainly help to heal.
Yeah, that's interesting. This idea of somebody sort of being able to express what you can't. I think there's something so powerful about that.
Yeah. And it's not just in the words they're using, but the sounds they're making. Sometimes they just have a way of connecting with how you want to feel at that moment and what you need. I think that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was thinking about this too, Garth. Like, it's with the film as it comes out. It's often a question of what do you hope audiences experience. But
right.
One of the things I thought about this film in particular is, what is it about Sing 2 that we need to hear right now in the midst of everything going on?
I never thought about that, but so again, I don't know if I'm going to get this put this succinctly, but I think another story. I think we've heard one story for 2 years. I think we've been all hearing bad news for 2 years, and we haven't been given enough of a balance to that. We've been out of balance. Don't you feel like it's just been one thing? It's been hard. And so to be given another story that is reminding us that there is still joy out there, there is still a lot to be grateful for, and just to have an experience with our loved ones is something to be cherished. I hope that there is joy to be experienced. Sorry, it's a motorbike going past my office. It timed it perfect with the word joy. I really hope people come away with that feeling like this. They don't just enjoy it in the cinema. They kind of come away with it. You kind of carry that joy with you. I think that there's never been a bad time to have those feelings, but there's never been a time when I've needed it more than I do now. Just another narrative that's just less. It's not putting its fingers in its ears and saying the world is fine and the world is fine. It's there to say, no, there are other stories, and let's not forget there is a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, the next question is pretty obvious here, I guess. Is there going to be a Sing 3?
I don't know. I will tell you this, that kind of like Sing 1, when we were just starting to talk about, wouldn't it be funny if kind of conversations a year before we finished, but they were informal. They were like creative conversations just because we love the characters. We have had those conversations, but there is no, you'd be very bad luck to say we're making a Sing 3. Guess what? That would somehow work against you. But no, if the world decides that if we feel that there is an audience for that, there would be a lovely thing to make. I wouldn't do it. I think I would take a back seat and allow someone else to take that journey. I think you need the energy and enthusiasm of new people. But certainly these are beautiful characters, and there would be more that we could do. Yeah.
Oh, it's it's such a fun world, and it's funny, like, we talk about a song saving your life. There are so many moments in your life that a song can trigger.
Yes.
Some sort of trigger that whether it's joy, whether it's sadness, it's, the soundtrack of your life.
Do you know, it's funny you said that. A friend of mine, she's a British lady living in the countryside, and she had to stop her car the other day. She called me. She said, I was listening to the radio and Bruce Springsteen came on. I forget the song. Oh, what was it? It wasn't Born to Run. But anyway, it was one of his greats. And she had to pull over. She said it was like this big wham of just feelings and everything all at once. And this is I'm saying, I'm making it clear. This is a British lady living in rural England, feeling this Bruce Springsteen's kind of passion and joy and heartbreak and all those things that are kind of in there. And we were laughing and saying, yeah, it doesn't stop those feelings. You could be, as you say, triggered in the most incredible way by a song that you've known all your life. It suddenly comes back and it's a bang. You're at the mercy of that power.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. And so, I mean, Garth, I know we're out of time, but I'm so thankful for the chance to talk to you. It's such a joy.
Oh, likewise. It's nice to speak to you. Thanks very much. I appreciate your enthusiasm as well. Asking me questions I don't think I knew the answers to, but hopefully we got something out of it.
We got a lot of great stuff. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Happy holidays.
You too.
See you soon. Bye. Bye.